Hello, I'm back. After 10 weeks of walking a whole bunch of small caminos, I'm back and ready to share the good, the bad, and the really silly with you. So stick around. When the topic of conversation turns to walking a Camino, the Camino de Santiago, a lot of people automatically think of, oh, the Camino Frances. Sure, I'm familiar with that one. Yeah, they did a movie about it or something like that. Okay, so most people would equate walking the Camino as walking the Camino Frances. Of course, it is the major one. It's the one that most people walk, especially on their first Camino. But there are so many others. There's up north, you've got the Norte. Then you've got, of course, the Frances. Then the Via de la Plata. And then you head over to Portugal, and you've got the two Portuguese routes, the inland and then the coastal route. But those are just the major routes that connect all of those caminos to that one point in Santiago de Compostela. I'm a visual person, and I love referencing my position using maps. So, hey, let's go inside and take a look at a map. Over the past 10 weeks, I actually walked 9 separate caminos or portions of caminos. Some of them were, independent caminos that had a beginning and ending and even offered their own specific Compostela. Others were just portions of a larger camino that fed into a different camino. So let me get the map up and show you where I went. As you look at the map on the right, you'll notice the red line that is outlining the Camino Frances. It begins in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port and continues pretty much in a western direction to Santiago de Compostela. Then notice down in the south of Spain, you have the gold line or yellow line. That is the Via de la Plata route. And it begins in Sevilla and it continues north. And up at the very top, you can see it either branches off into the Camino Invierno or the Winter Way, or if you keep going, it will run into the Camino Frances, the red line. I started my trip this time in Madrid, and Madrid is like, ground zero. It's the beginning point for most Caminos. It's a good place to start in Spain, to fly into Madrid and then take ground transportation to wherever you're going to begin your particular Camino or portion thereof. I'm going to switch topics here for just a minute and fill you in on Blue Scoot. Those of you that have been following me on Facebook have seen pictures and videos about my little kick scooter, who we named Blue Scoot. Oh, he was awesome. Basically, it's just a kick scooter. There's no motor on it or anything. And you know how when you're walking a traditional Camino day, you walk, 10, 15 miles, you get to the city, the village, whatever, you check into your hotel, you get your dinner. The last thing you want to do is walk another 3 or 4 kilometers to go see the Roman ruins or this cathedral or this museum or whatever. So I thought, wouldn't it be a kick to have a kick scooter so that when I get to these towns, I can scoot around and go see all those things that I'd really like to see, but I'm just too tired to walk around too. So my original intent was to use luggage transport to transport my kick scooter or Blue Scoot to the big cities where I would be taking a rest day. So I could use scooter to scoot all around and see everything I wanted to see. and then do another luggage transport, and he would be waiting for me in the next big city, wherever I arrived, take another day or two off, and have Blue Scoots to scoot around the town with. But here's what happened. I loved him so much on the Camino that after I started using him, I said, I don't want to be separated from this guy at all. So he did the entire Camino with me. Now, I wasn't riding him all the time. Every time we had an uphill, I had to pull him behind me. Every time we were on dirt or gravel or rough terrain, I had to pull him along behind me. I had a lot of friends that texted me or messaged me saying, "What's up with Scoot? What is this?" And so when I was in Madrid, I did a couple of videos about him, and so I'll put up those videos in just a second here. But as I was doing the video, this dear man walked by and wanted to know if he could help, because I had my camera on the little tripod on my gimbal and stuck in a tree. And so he was really sweet, and so he took a video of me scooting. So anyway, here are the videos that I did explaining about Blue Scoot. I've been getting a lot of questions about Blue Scoot, and by the way, thank you everyone for helping me name him. And no, there's no motor on it. It's just the platform and 3 wheels. So the front wheels will turn when I lean and put pressure on the handlebars. But it's all self-propelled, just me and scooting. It has a really wide platform so that I can put both feet on it, and I'm a goofy footer, so I put my right foot on it and I scoot with my left. But I've learned how to change and go normal foot, which is your right foot on, left foot on, and then scoot with the right foot. So anyway, I'm gonna turn it around and just do a real quick video down the walk here. Here I go. Thank you, my dear friend.
I hope I did it.
Thank you, sir. So, back to the Camino. I think we left off in Madrid. From Madrid, I went to Toledo. I love Toledo. That is such a wonderful, wonderful historical city to visit. Back in the medieval days, that was the place to go if you were a Jewish scholar or wanted to be. That was where you went to study Torah and Talmud. What is amazing to me as a Jew and visiting Toledo is that they are revitalizing the historic Jewish quarter. They're bringing back all of the shops, the synagogues, the yeshivot, the housing, and they're inviting Jews to return and open up their shops and come back and make it another Jewish city, Jewish place. It's quite lovely. Anyway, so Toledo was a wonderful, wonderful place. I was not able to use Blue Scoot very much because it's built on a hill and everything is either up or down. So Toledo was a no-go for Blue Scoot. But from Toledo, I went to Avila, and that was Blue Scoot heaven. So after Toledo, I hopped on the Camino Levante. This is the Camino that begins in Valencia, and it travels in a northwesterly direction to Zamora. And then you have to take other caminos to get to Santiago. But this particular trail, it kind of winds around, and I got on and off of it several times during this last trip. But anyway, it was a very convenient trail to get me from one place to another. I'm outside the city walls of Avila, standing in front of the statue of Saint Teresa, And just what an incredible journey it's been today. Walking up the valley and seeing the castle walls, the fortified city walls in the distance. You know, this must have been amazing for the pilgrims of the medieval days. It was amazing for me to come up here. And in more than one way, it concludes my portion of the Camino Levante, which ends today now that I'm in Avila. And then in the morning, I begin a new Camino. I'll be walking the Camino Teresiano. And so I'm only halfway to Santiago, but this is a monumental portion of this particular Camino to me. I hope you're enjoying it. I certainly am. The next part of this incredible journey was the Camino Teresiano. This Camino is also called the cradle to the grave because it begins in Avila, where Saint Teresa was born, and it finishes up in Alba de Torma, the place where she died and also established the Carmelite monastery. So this path that you walk, it travels the roads that she walked between the two places. And there's also a lot of Carmelite nunneries that she established along the way. And so as you do this short journey, it's only 5 or 6 days, but as you do it, you stop at all of these places where she was influential in establishing either nunneries or churches or whatever. And there's a lot of museums along the way. So to do this route, when you get to Avila, you go to the tourist office and you pick up a special Pilgrim passport. It's different than your other one. It's specifically for Camino Teresiano. So you pick up your passport, you get it stamped along the way, and they also have a really nice map that shows you the whole route, all the villages you're going to go to, all the museums, all the churches, all the monasteries, all the nunneries, and so forth. So pick up the map, get your credential, and then walk it. It's only 5 or 6 days. It's pretty flat. This is actually the only Camino that I know of where you can get a Compostela for either walking, biking, riding a horse, or driving a car, as long as you stop at all the places along the way and get your Pilgrim passport stamped. When you get to Alba de Torma, you can get your Compostela, and it's a very nice one, really pretty. So that was the conclusion of the first part of this adventure, from Madrid to Toledo to Avila to Alba de Torma. And then from there, from the end of the Camino Teresiano, it's just a short walk. I think it's like 10 miles or 23, 24 kilometers, something like that, to Salamanca. And of course, Salamanca is a great day to take a rest day. There's a lot to see there. Now, let me get off topic and end with something really silly here. First of all, have you ever stayed at a parador? Paradors are wonderful. If you have never stayed in one, you need to if you ever get the opportunity. They're great. They're very, very expensive, way out of this pilgrim's budget, but if you're a smart pilgrim, you can find some good deals. They usually offer pilgrim's rate, so if you're ever in a city that does have a parador, ask them if they have pilgrim rates. You'd be surprised. And you can also couple that with senior rates. And I've stayed at some really, expensive paradors for the price of, like a budget hotel. So it's worth asking about. So anyway, I'm going to leave you with a quick video of something kind of silly that I did one night at a parador. Hey, have you ever wanted to scoot down the hallway of a parador with a glass of wine? Actually, I've never really thought about it, but the opportunity never presented itself. But guess what? It's here. Okay, here we go. How was that?